Shout out to Isaiah Edwards. He has a question. He says, "Hey, Uncle Zoe, how hard is it to manage business affairs as an indie artist, collecting royalties, streaming dues, etc.? How much money would you need to start off?"
You know what? Um, I had a conversation like that just the other day with a buddy of mine.
I'll be
And
back in 30 seconds.
go ahead. These days, I don't know how expensive it is because a lot of things, a lot of your streaming situations, if you do them correctly, they are straight direct deposits. You just have to make sure that nobody's out there bootlegging your shit. That's the problem I've been having. I had to hire a publishing manager to go through all the various platforms to make sure all my shit is getting the proper credit. And be surprised how many songs or how much music I have that people have stuck their name on. People have claimed copyrights. People have lied. Oh, it's a mess. To do it today, biz affairs, indie artists collecting royalties, streaming dues. Like I said, royalties, Spotify, YouTube, um, Sound Exchange, MLC. Once you set those accounts up and register your music, it's going to come to you automatically. Just a matter of going to checking your email. The business affairs, as far as contracts, got to have a lawyer on that. Um, what you need to start off, man, it all depends on what your budget is, dude. If you got more money than if you got more time than money, you don't need a lot of money. You got to learn. You got to learn the game. And there's one place I would tell anybody: spend some time at YouTube University. YouTube University will teach you a whole bunch of shit about learning this new way of doing music. Most of the stuff is coming from streaming. All right. Harry Fox will send you if you have product like I do. Harry Fox will send you um, automatic streaming agreements. You have the right to opt out. Usually, what they do, they'll sign you up and they'll send you a letter. Hey, man, we're gonna put your stuff on the streaming platform. If you don't want to be into it, if you don't want to be in, don't opt out. In most cases, in the beginning, I opted pretty much into everything to see what was happening. Good thing I did because at one point in time, Sound Exchange, and it still does. Sound Exchange was paying me some good money. But again, you still got to have a hit. You got to have a record too. You could spend a bunch of money and not have a good record and just spend a bunch of money. If you got a hit record, people are going to find it some way, form, or fashion. It's real difficult for a raggedy ass record just um, to be heard. There's so many raggedy ass records out there right now. If you got a good record, people will book you, and that's where you're gonna make most of your money at. But you can't have a gang banging record. Can't be talking no hood shit. You may get to be hot in your hood, but shit you can't go nowhere else but in your hood. So hopefully I answered most of your question. And as the show goes on, if I think of something else, I'll drop it on you.
Good looking, good looking. Los Angeles wants to know, does Lonzo remember a club called Jackie O's on Los Angeles
Hell
on Beverly?
yeah! Shit,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Let's talk about
motherfucker.
Jackie O's.
Man, look, Jackie O's was on La Cienega. Jackie O's was maybe one of about six clubs on La Cienega between Washington and Santa Monica Boulevard. I mean, Washington and Wilshire. I mean, no, Sunset. And what I would do sometime, I would dip out. I was at the Even to Dark so much at one point in time. In the evening, sometimes it started cracking until about, I don't know, 12 or 1 o'clock, depending on what was going on. I just dip out. I go to Jackie O's. I go to Chamonix. I go by Osco's. I go by the Speakeasy. I'd go to all these spots and just pop in, because I knew everybody. And Jackie O's was one of my favorite because Jackie O's had a real upscale crowd, and that was the shit. Yes, I remember Jackie O's with a vengeance. Yes, sir.
That's dope. That's dope. I want to talk a little bit more about that, but before we get into that, I don't want to miss Isaiah's question. He says, is it better to have your money sent to an LLC for taxes?
Yes. Don't put your name on shit. Don't put your name on shit but the LLC. Don't put your name on nothing. Don't. I made that mistake in the beginning, and I put all my stuff in my name, and my taxes was crazy. Once you form a business, everything you fucking touch becomes deductible. Your social security number gives you very little deductions outside of home mortgage and a couple of other things. But when you have a business, everything becomes deductible. Please start an LLC. It's not that expensive. I just formed one for my TV channel, and we got it overnight. We got it in 3 days. It cost us like $300. Get an LLC, get your EIN number, put everything in your EIN number, put your money, in fact, I was even told, make your name an LLC. Okay, Lonzo Williams LLC. All right. So if people give you money, you put that money in that account, and you can everything from that come out of that account. In most cases, it's deductible. You want to make sure you have a business. Yes.
Dropping that game. Before we go on, I'm going to tell everybody in the chat, I'm actually commenting tonight from my second channel, Dusty Vision Radio. That's sitting around 2,000 subscribers, and I'm really trying to build that channel this year. So if you guys can please hit that subscribe button on my channel if you're not already subscribed to Dusty Vision Radio. I'm going to be posting daily. I'm going to be dropping some rare hip-hop mixes and things like that. So it's going to be more hip-hop focused. So if you love hip-hop, especially 90s, rare, G-Funk and all that, that's the place to be, Dusty Vision Radio. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, dropping that game, Lonzo. But I want to talk a little bit more about clubs back in the day. So Jackie O's, what were some other popping clubs, and even not necessarily ones that you went to, but ones that maybe your parents went to, or ones that the older cats went to, even going back to the...
My dad, my mom didn't go to no clubs at all. My dad, he was a club popper. He was a Jeffy's man. Jeffy's the name of the game. That was his spot, okay? But by the time the 80s hit, clubs was everywhere. And back in the 80s, if LA didn't have 50, 60 clubs, my name ain't Lonzo. And it was, dude, you could party every night in LA back in the day. Every night. Where you want to party at? Marina Del Rey, we got 3 or 4 clubs out there. You want to go to Hollywood? We got 4 or 5 clubs out there. We got Carlos and Charlie's. We got Carlos and Charlie's. We had the club in the Century Club. We had the Highwaymen. We had we had because back then the whole club situation had become so new. A lot of restaurants because they had liquor license, and they would move their tables and chairs out after a certain time and open the doors to a club. Okay. And that was a big deal for a while. I mean, any restaurant that had a liquor license would pretty much open their doors to promoters. And it wasn't until fucking gangbanging come along and shut that shit down, man. Fucking gangbanging. That shit fucked up every fucking thing. It fucked up everything. The Hoppin' Lakewood, Mr. J's downtown, yes sir. That was one of my spots on Friday. Mr. J's, the only spot in town that you had to wear a tie, and you had to wear a coat and tie, and the owner got on a sweatsuit looking like fucking Captain and Tennille with a little captain's hat on. But you partying with cops, and shit happened at Little J's. It was Little J's. Little J's downtown, Mr. J's, Little J's. Little J's, it might be 2 different places, but I know Little J's downtown was my spot on Friday night because they had the dope-ass happy hour. And most people understand, and the reason why I understand is because I own club and liquor license. Little J's would give away food at a certain time to be in compliance with the liquor license. Because at a 47 liquor license is technically a restaurant. And if you have a restaurant and a liquor license, you have to your food receipts have to be 50% of your gross receipts. So in order to be in compliance, because most people don't buy food at the club. They may buy chicken wings and some French fries or something like that. But most people don't want a big old meal. So he would just give away the food. I guess he write it off on his taxes like it was part of the sales. And so about midnight, he had a big ass soul food meal jumping off greens and smothered steak and shit. And chicken. It was the shit. I used to go to Osco's, the club they had in Studio Saturday Night Fever, with the big old gorilla hands holding the champagne glass. Yes, we had a club. There was a club in West LA called Dylan's. Dylan's was the shit. Dylan's was a 4-story office building converted to a multi-level club. The third floor was for 18 and over. Everything else was over 21. And man, we go down there and party with the UCLA girls. It would be a blast. That was the only other place you can go to during the weekdays and party besides Eve After Dark or Carolina West. At Carolina West, girls could be 18, guys had to be 21. They got shut down because of discrimination. Simple as that. Okay, can't do that. Man, my favorite club back in the day, I was about 17, maybe 18. It was a club right there on the corner of Wilshire and Crenshaw. It's been gone for decades, but I'll never forget. I was in my maxi coat natural days, and I walked in the club. There was O.J. Simpson, there was Tony Davis, there was Jim Brown. There was a bunch of old school. Well, they was in a prime back then. I just saw this some bitch on television on a movie a couple of days ago. This dude just ran a touchdown, and it felt like no bullshit. I swear I thought I was in Madame Zenobia's on a good Uptown Saturday Night. It felt just like Madame Zenobia's, man. It was shit going on in all kind of rooms, dude. It was. I was 17. I wasn't supposed to be in there, but my cousins who went with me, I had 2 cousins who go with me. They wouldn't let them in. We all rode together. We all the same age. In fact, I was probably the youngest one, but because I just carried myself different, they let me in. It was, dude, I swear, I was driving. The niggas had to sit in the car. I'm going in this motherfucker right here. Yes, Red Onion. Oh, man, Red Onion on Wilshire.
Damn.
Red Onion on Wilshire, man. Red Onion, the whole chain of Red Onions took advantage of what I was talking about earlier, about moving the tables out the way and turning the restaurants into a club. They had one in Lakewood. They had one on Wilshire, and that was the best one. Dude, happy hour Thursday. It was free to get in. Had these little sweet-ass barbecue chicken wings, and the girls was awesome. I had a friend of mine, we met there in the 80s. We still friends to this day, man. We're still friends to this day. She got a dude now. I don't kick it with her no more. But we're still friends to this day. We met at a Red Onion, dude. So Red Onion definitely was a joint. Red Onion Lakewood. It was cool, but it was too cool. It was too close to Compton. These motherfuckers used to have 8-ball in a barrel.
Wow.
These motherfuckers had 8-ball in the barrel. Okay, like you have people have a party and they got some Budweisers and some MG Lights, MGDs in the barrel. These motherfuckers had 8-ball in the barrel. Okay, that shit didn't last long at all. That shit didn't last long. It was a little bit too close to Compton. At that time, gangs was coming up and everybody was trying to make a name for themselves, and that shit got shut down.